Good morning, everybody. It's Meg from Books Off the Beaten Path, and it is time for another early morning book review. And today we will be reviewing Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. Now, this is not a vintage. This is a recent book. Let's see if I can get a copyright date on it. It's 2023. So it came out last year, which is probably the most recent book that I have read in a while. And this is basically a fictionalized true crime story following the aftermath of the Ted Bundy attacks at the Florida campus. If you're not familiar, it happened in 1978, and Ted Bundy snuck inside the sorority house and I think killed 2 women and then majorly wounded 2 other women. And so it's the story about a survivor, one of the sorority girls. She wasn't really attacked, but she saw him leave, which is factual. And she was brought in to testify at the trial. And so we have that story. And then we have the storyline of Tina and Ruth. And Ruth was one of his victims out at Lake. Oh, what's the name of the lake? I don't know. It was a lake. I'll have to look it up. But he got 2 women in one day at this very, very populated lake. He kidnapped both of them and killed both of them. I believe one, the remains were found, and I think the remains were never found on the other one. And so we follow the story of Ruth, who is one of his victims, and she's told in first person. And so I was wondering the whole time through the book how we were going to get to that actual day. And I thought it was very artfully done. I thought it was very, very well done. Now, I gave this book a 3.5 out of 4 stars, and the reason I did that was because I just couldn't give it a 5 stars because I thought there was way too much backstory on Ruth and Tina that I didn't need, that was not necessary to the story. Now, I watched, in relation to this book, because I'm not a Ted Bundy aficionado because I think there is nothing, the most horrible creatures in the world, the true monsters of the world are serial killers. But I did really enjoy Anne Rule, The Stranger Beside Me. And so reading that book, reading the Anne Rule book, it painted Ted Bundy in a light that, in my opinion, was too flattering. This book was not flattering at all. As a matter of fact, the author did a great job of never saying the name Ted Bundy. They simply called him the defendant, which I thought was very well done. You know, don't give him extra credit. And the bright young women who were tailing him or trying to bring him up to prosecution, trying to get him to, you know, be put away or killed forever for these crimes, really described him as pretty much a loser, which now, if you watch any recent documentaries, and I think there's another book out there about Ted Bundy that's recent that really says that, you know, women were more annoyed with him than they were enamored with him. They said he was kind of effeminate, he was kind of whiny, he was kind of, oh, help me, and everything like that. Now, we know he was a horrible person, but I think that some people, you know, this myth of him being this magnetic, you know, women couldn't resist him and they went with him and everything like that. That's not true. That's just not true. This book talks a lot about how women are sort of preconditioned to be helpers, even if they don't want to be. And I just thought it was very, very good. Again, didn't give it a 5 stars because there was way too much about Ruth and Tina's relationship, which I didn't think added to the story at all. I didn't think it was necessary. I thought if you removed those sections of the book, you would still have an excellent book, and you just didn't need to know about the whole backstory of Ruth and everything like that. I just didn't think that was necessary. I didn't have a problem with it in that, you know, what the subject matter was or anything like that, but it was just, I just kept reading through it going, okay, move it along, move it along. Anyway, it was very good. It was very good. I'm going back to my vintage after this. And again, I think it really shows women not only as victims, but also as the courageous people that we know they are, these survivors, these people whose lives were affected in such a horrible way. The lengths that they went to really nail him, because the male police officers are not portrayed in a very flattering light at all. As a matter of fact, one of the first things that was so infuriating, at least to me as reading the book, is that Pamela, our sorority sister who saw him, takes a wanted poster from Colorado. Remember, this happened in Florida. She takes a wanted poster from Colorado to the police department, and she shows it to him, and she's like, this is the man I saw, this is the man I saw, and they dismiss her, and they're like, well, he's in Colorado. Like, it's inconceivable to them that he would cross state lines and everything like that. Now, I know times were different back then. We didn't really have any precedents for serial killers or anything like that, but they're so dismissive of her, it just makes you want to punch them. So anyway, 4 out of 5 stars. No, I didn't say that. 3.5 out of 5 stars for Bright Young Women. I read it very quickly. It kept me entertained. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I'm going back to my vintage after this, and we're going to finish up Dark Shadows, and I'll give you a review on that one. And anyway, I hope that you enjoyed my review. Give me a like and hit subscribe, and I will check you later. Bye.